Just walk away. Just walk away. And there will be an end to the horror.
Down the hall and a toast to prosperity was made, the waiter presented the men with their tools of destruction.
Hello?
Yeah.
Ah, good fucking hear you pretty clearly. So,
good.
So let's just talk about the reaction to the clone thing. Well, when you start recording, let me know.
I'm recording right now. It's already recording.
Oh, right. Oh, that's good, because I've just noticed that all rationality just goes out the window as soon as this subject comes up, and it's just falsely compartmentalising things, false dichotomies. People tend to think it either or when they get emotional. So if you disagree with them, they assume you're a liberal, Muslim worshipping, pro-rape, rape apologist activist or something like that. Because one of the comments in your latest video says, "Oh, a 45-minute rape apology."
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
What the?
That was my favorite comment, actually. 45-minute rape apology. I thought, my God, really? That's fantastic. Like, I think it's absolutely fantastic. He even said, I broke a record.
Yeah. Well, you know what I say? Real men, they never apologise for their conquests.
No.
So,
no, they don't.
It's a joke.
They don't.
You see.
They don't. Well, real men don't apologise, nor do they brag about them. That's the whole point.
Yeah, but you know what? It shows you how powerful the feminist movement is, because people who are anti-feminist, they will instinctively use feminist terminology.
Yeah.
Basically. It's amazing. It's amazing. So it must mean that there's something about feminism that deeply appeals to the human psyche.
Basically. Yeah, it's beyond feminism, man. It's beyond it. I mean, it goes beyond that. It's a narrative that is entrenched in. I want to say in the way we've been educated, but if I say that, then you've got to run over 1,000 more conspiracies. But the point is that the way we think is the way we talk, and the way we talk is how we communicate. And I believe that this is just the tip of the iceberg. Feminism is just one one snakehead of the Medusa. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, the thing is, that white nationalist comment I shared with you that I found on YouTube, he was going, "Oh yeah, the brown people, they're coming over, they're raping hundreds of millions of white women." It's the most hysterical comment I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I'll say something. These guys are 100 times worse than the feminists. They're more anti-male than any feminists, in my opinion.
Yes.
So because
go ahead.
Can I just say something? All right, okay. Let's say, all right, because this is a hypothetical scenario, right? Let's say you want to get married, you're aware of the risks, okay? So you think, all right, what I'll do is let's say you're white as well. This could apply to black nationalists or any other group like this, but let's say you want to get married, you're white, and you think, right, I'll pretend to be racist, I'll find a nice white woman to settle down with, just pretend to be racist, join this community, right, and I'll have kids. It's not going to work. That's the thing, because these people can't control their women, right? They're Stormfront has got women only forums, right? And they badmouth all the other white nationalist men.
Yeah.
And it's not going to stop them divorcing. And they won't even talk about this because they don't understand cause and effect.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is there's no Faustian pact to be had with these people. These people offer nothing. They offer nothing at all.
No.
You see, that's the point I'm making. So you can't. There's nothing even to sell out to. There's no print. It's not like you can sell out your principles and get something. They offer you nothing.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
it's really sad. It's absolutely, to me, it's very, very sad. And I even said, what's happening here is there's a lot of men who they hear the bell toll. The bell. Who does the bell toll for? It tolls for you.
Yeah.
It tolls for you, the man,
Yeah.
to fucking throw your jacket down on the puddle and let the woman walk across it because she's being raped by the brown man from across the ocean. It's incredible.
What's incredible as well, in my opinion, is they use the terminology "are women,"
Mm-hmm.
but here's the thing: we're not their men. We're not their men. They've discarded us.
Yeah, of course.
Basically, no fault to fall, single motherhood. They want down-marking boys in schools, which is absolutely disgusting. There's so many things I can point out. That would take forever. That would take an hour to point out all the things that women have done.
Yeah.
Right? They're not our women because we're not their men.
Yes.
And the thing is, females know this. Females know no matter what we do, what they do to us, we'll automatically come running to protect them. Basically, that's why they do. You see, females are more risk averse and they're more socially attuned to this and hyper status aware. So they know who they can aggress against and who they cannot aggress against.
Yes.
Okay, so you get these losers worshipping them, and that's why women mistreat them because they know these losers are always going to be there as backup for them.
Yes.
You see?
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's a good point. That's actually a very good point. Is that they're not our women. They've never been our women. If it was us, if the roles were reversed and it was us laying down in the concrete or bleeding to die, as it has always been through history, taking a bullet for them to be comfortable, they're not going to turn around and start marching in the streets to protect us.
Yeah.
They never have.
No, they haven't. Well, here's the thing I've heard. I'm not sure these are true because I've been looking into it. There's a lot of confusing reports. There's a lot of biases from the left and right. But from what I can understand, there's been alleged attacks on men. And apparently there were some really severe beatings, like curb stompings, right? And when I Google male attack victims on the Cologne attacks, right, it just brings up the female victims. I can't find any search results for the male victim. And... So, and I talked to people. I said, "Look, there's men have been attacked as well, and they'll just carry on banging on about women. Oh, women are under attack." And I'm not talking to typical so-called blue pillars. I'm talking to anti-feminists in the community.
Yeah.
And they'll use terminology like the real rape culture, blah blah blah. This is what Muslim culture is like, blah blah blah. Bloody nonsense.
Well, I think this is. Wait a second. This is an incredible phenomenon because what we have here is we have so-called red pillars that have been fighting tooth and nail against this narrative that women are always the victims. That women are always the victims and men are never. No one ever pays attention to them, and then suddenly the tide is turned, and all of a sudden, oh my God. Look, these women that are being raped, it's true. It has to be true. When they were being raped in our own countries by our own people, that's not true. No, that's not true. But now it is. So now we have to turn around and we have to man up and we have to be protective of them. It's incredible.
So how are we going to be protective of them anyway? Because anti-vigilante justice, that's what they're calling for, basically.
Yeah, that's what they're calling for. They're calling for vigilante justice, violent recompense. They want to basically violently assault anybody that they consider to be again, this is where it becomes racist, and this is where it becomes anti-religious, is when they start saying anybody that's brown, Muslim, and an immigrant, we must attack. I mean, these are the most racist motherfuckers I've ever seen in my life. I swear to God.
And racism is misandry, basically,
yes,
in my opinion.
It is misandry.
Can I tell you something? I can promise you, every single white nationalist out there would bust a nut in a black woman if they got the chance. Those losers in Stormfront banging on about how bad black people are, they're talking about black men. If they had a chance, they'll get stuck into a black woman and wreck her, basically.
Of course
so, of course. and if you study the history of slavery, right, and I'm not saying black women weren't treated badly during the slavery era in North America, but they were treated far better than men. And there was actually, in the South, there was actually retreats for white men, rich white men, and their black mistresses to go away to. Okay, and overall, okay, I think like more men got imported over during the slave trade, but more women survived. So it's all, at the end of the day, racism is misandry. The target is other men.
Yes,
and it's probably instinctual because
yes.
Back in the day, like what did Genghis Khan do back in the day? He'd kill all the men. Yep. And impregnate all the women. It's a primitive instinct.
Of course, man. You know, I made a video on this very subject many years ago. Well, not many, but about 3 years ago. One of the first earliest videos I ever made, and nobody paid attention to it. Nobody really paid attention to it, but it came to my attention because I was paying attention to the media from my original country in Canada, and I saw this stuff about how the Canadian Parliament and the government there was trying to put a lot of money and effort into finding and protecting not only abused Native women, and when I say Native, Indian women, Native women, and missing Native Indian women. Like all this money being thrown into the government, we have to find these missing Native. So I went ahead and I looked up the statistics. And the amount of Native men that were missing compared to the women was more than double. And that was RCMP. That was RCMP statistics, Royal Canadian Mounted Police statistics, online that anybody can look up. Twice as many men had gone missing in the same amount of time, but nobody gave a shit about them. It's incredible.
Well, I've got a friend. I'm not going to name drop him, but I've got a friend who was working in NGO development, right, in Asia, Southeast Asia, right? And there was this narrative of trafficked women, right?
Yeah.
And what he basically told me is it's all bullshit. Basically, they'll class anyone as trafficked women just to inflate the stats. It's all exaggerated bollocks, basically. And it's just also raise money. That's what the NGOs. And it's called the extra human effect. Women are extra human. Any transgression against women is a slight against the gynocentric religion of women worship. Yes. Oh no, we've got to protect the extra humans. It's
and money, and then money piles in, and then the money piles in. You cannot put a man on a cross and expect people to stand up and look and put coins in a purse. It doesn't fucking happen. If you do it to a woman, you're going to become a millionaire.
Yeah. You know what? I'm surprised Jesus Christ wasn't a woman. How did they ever get sympathy for a man back in the day? Because that's what Christianity is based on. Sympathy and empathy and pity for Jesus Christ. It wouldn't work these days, would it?
No, it certainly wouldn't work nowadays. Fuck, it would not work at all. That's what I mean. The next religious prophet is going to be a woman. It has to be.
Right.
It's going to be
She's not going to be very spiritually enlightened, is she? You know, her religion's going to be give me, complain, nag.
No. Well, she's going to have to feign. She's going to have to feign some kind of piousness. She's going to have to, right, to sell it. But you're not going to be able to, in the modern age, you're not going to be able to sell that piousness as a man. There's no way.
Yeah.
No
I want to talk about Islam for a bit, because a lot of people don't understand Islam. And the thing is, there's this bullshit that feminists are pro. Right, there might be some factions of feminists who support Islamists unconditionally, but they're quite rare. Most feminists lie about Muslims, men in the Middle East. They have this false narrative of going, Muslim men oppress their women, they beat their women, they rape their women, they stone them to death. Stone to death rape victims and all this fucking nonsense, right? They don't support. You get all these NGOs coming into Muslim countries, giving women stuff, fucking disrupting the balance of the society. When you give women stuff, when you give women free stuff, they'll discard their men.
Yes, so, they do. They do.
That's why men kill themselves far more than women in third world countries, because women will discard them once they're no more use. A woman who's poor, the man will look after and protect her.
Yeah.
You see, this is why. This is why I don't even argue about the concept of equality. It's complete nonsense, because at the end of the day, women have got social power because men feel protected of them. So you just can't look at economics and the legal system, because even if you had all those things in men's favour, women will still be privileged because they could get men to protect them on their behalf. So you get these NGOs coming in, pouring feminist poison into their brains, right? Giving them education on all this stuff. It's going to destroy these. It's going to destroy these Muslim societies.
It will. It will, and it is. It's already happening. I've been witnessing it happening in front of my eyes for the last fucking 13 years, man. In this most populous Muslim country in the goddamn world, I've been watching it happen systematically.
And do you know why Muslim men? I think Muslims are very violent, right, on average, because I think Muslim women are more violent than average. I think if you see a violent culture, you've got to look at various different factors: the environment, like poverty, and the character of the women.
Yes, culture.
And a lot of
culture.
Exactly. But the thing is, there are a lot of neurotic, violent Arab men and Muslim men because the women abuse their fucking kids and beat them.
Yes.
To me, that's the main causal factor.
Dude,
that is the main causal, in my opinion. Yeah.
Dude, let me just say this. Let me just say this. I might have told you this before, but let's say this on record. I've been living in this populous Muslim country for 13 years, and in the time I've been here, I've been married for 5, divorced for 5, and outside of that time, I've dated many women. They were all Muslim, not because of chance. Well, no, because that's just the majority of people here. And I'll tell you, of all the women I've ever dated in my goddamn life in Canada, I have never experienced violent women like I have here. It's incredible. It's fucking incredible, man. They are violent by nature.
Let me tell you a couple of stories about Arab women in here, because there's a lot of them in London, right? I'm going to tell you 2 different stories about their character, because I don't buy this, they're oppressed, they're scared. Arab women or Muslim women are fucking ballbusters. Let me tell you one story. I was with a Russian friend of mine who's a bit dumb. He's not really a friend anymore, more than an acquaintance, a Russian friend of mine, right, acquaintance. He was in a supermarket, right, and he got into an argument with women wearing the veil. There was a woman in front of him in the queue, and he got into an argument with them.
Why?
Over the queue, and I said, because he's an idiot, that's why. He's a moron. And I said to him, just fucking leave it. Leave it. Okay, leave it. I tried calming the situation down. The women in the burqas got their old uncle. The uncle's like 5'4", a really old and frail. They got their uncle involved, right?
Yeah.
And the uncle didn't speak good English. He did, what's going on here and everything. And he didn't realise it was my Russian friend who started the fucking argument pointlessly. Yeah. He thought it was me. I was the one trying to calm it down. So he tried gouging my fucking eyes out. Okay, and you see, like, and the women wearing the veils, they must have known this was going to fucking happen. That's why they got their uncle, because they were slighted against. So the thing is, it's a good thing he was so small and weak, because I managed to push him off. Yeah. There was security there that pulled him back as well. Otherwise, I'd have beaten him up. But and this is the power and social dominance of Muslim women. And here's another thing as well. I've seen Muslim women in cafes argue with white women as well. They're wearing a veil, they're in a cafe, they're arguing with these white women for no reason. And these women, they're not scared. They're socially fucking dominant.
Yeah, of course.
This is people that think all the female restrictions, these people never get, I try explaining it over and over again, all the restrictions placed on these females are for their own good, and they're culturally enforced by other women.
Yeah.
Anything the culture does is approved by women. It's approved by elder women.
Yes.
So women wear the burqa, they're veiled up, they keep the sexual market value artificially high, they keep Arab men horny, more women to marry them. And here's another thing as well. Most honour killing victims
I made
are
that
male.
video, man.
Yeah, most honour victim killings are male, and most honour killings are done on behalf of slighted stepmothers, apparently.
Yes, of course. Jesus Christ, I've known this for fucking so long, man.
I've known this
fucking long.
But every time I tell people this, even anti-feminists within the community, I tell them this, I provide the links, I provide the sources, they won't process the information. They'll just go, oh yeah, but they're burqa, they wear the burqa, oh they're beaten, look, it's a rape culture, oh, women who've been raped get stoned to death, oh yeah. They just repeat it like automatrons, basically. They can't take in new information.
That's because the gynocentric world, and this is the world, it needs to make females victims. Look, the women in the East, let's call it the East, that wear the so-called burqas or live in these Eastern cultures. I live in a country where it's the most populous Muslim country in the world, and most women don't wear burqas. It's starting to become more and more popular. Most women don't, but it doesn't matter. They still control. They still dominate. They are violent and they dominate. It has the burqa. All the burqa does, just like you said, it puts up their sexual marketplace value. It makes them appear as a more dominant figure, more pious in the eyes of the men that are around them. If I had a fucking dime, if I had not a dime, let me add it up. If I had $1 for every fucking woman since my divorce and separation, if I had a fucking $1 for every jilbab, hijab wearing woman that was willing to fucking send me a picture of her tits, give me a break, man.
Well, do you know? Well, some of the best porn is Muslim women, basically. There's a lot of amateur porn. There's loads of porn out there of Muslim women getting fucked up the arse.
Yeah, man.
But Arab men, they're dirty. Yeah.
Well, that's what they want. Of course, that's what they want.
Let me tell you another story. Let me tell you a story about this Muslim couple that I knew. I was in temporary shelter because I was just homeless. I was just off the streets. The council found me somewhere to live. I was in this temporary place for a month, right? And there was this Arab couple, and there was this sexy, very sexy Arab MILF woman with a cute face and massive arse, big tits. She was so fucking sexy. But anyway, that's not the point of the story. What she'll do, she had this big, strong, balding, like Arab guy in his 50s, and what she'll do, she'll start the quarrels, right? She'll start the quarrels with him, right?
Yeah.
Start the quarrels with him every single time. They'll have a big row, big fight, right? They'll escalate. Can you guess what would happen at the end?
Some dude would come up and try to save the day.
No. They'll have very rough, angry makeup sex. I could hear it because they're next door.
Oh,
it
God.
happened at least 5 times. They'll have, yes.
It's your fucking neighbor.
Yeah. So
he probably had her fucking burqa flown over her wide ass.
No, she wasn't wearing a burqa though. But they're Muslims, yeah.
I know.
Okay. Yeah. So, but I'm just saying, these people, red pill. This is why I don't use the red pill label. This is why I drop labels in general, because people corrupt the labels and they become meaningless. People so-called red pill, right, believing that women are victims just because they're Muslim women, that's not red pill. That is blue pill. That is the bluest pill thinking out there.
Yeah.
That is conventional wisdom fed to you from the fucking media.
Yeah.
Right, and you get all these alt-right people, red pill people going, oh, the media lies, disinformation, don't believe them, it's feminist, blah blah blah. But as soon as it says a narrative that they approve of, they just fall into it, hook, line, and sinker. So this is good. Actually, this clothing thing has been good for MGTOW in a way, and good for the men's whatever you call the men's groupings on the internet, manosphere or whatever. It's been good because I have found out who the fake plastic anti-feminists are.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
and
absolutely. Absolutely.
There are a lot of them out there. Now, here's another subject I want to talk about. Let's say these attacks. So for the sake of argument, right, there's been 3 alleged rapes happened in Cologne, right? There hasn't been any prosecutions. 3 alleged rapes. There's been gropings. There's been robberies, right? But those 3 alleged rapes. For the sake of argument, let's just say I'm just going to pull a figure out my arse. Let's say 9 rapes happened. I'm going to triple the figure. Just to pull the figure out my arse. Let's say 9 rapes happened. Mm-hmm. I'm making up a figure. I'm exaggerating it by times 3. Even if you times it by 3, that'll still mean nothing statistically.
That's nothing. You know what that is?
Yes.
That's an average fucking Saturday night in Cologne.
Well, let's say it's not an average Saturday night. Let's say it's an above average Saturday night.
All right.
Let's just for the sake of argument. Let's just say that'll still make it an extremely rare crime.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing. So that's what people don't get. They're suddenly getting all of because when it comes to crime, right, the media presents these crimes also sensationalist. It plays on our emotions. But these crimes that they present, like serial killers, murders, and all that, they're rare events. Yeah. They're rare events. And I thought these so-called red pill people know that.
No, they don't.
Because using that logic, using the same logic. Oh yeah, that's a rape culture. Look at what happened in Cologne. Okay, let's look at Jack the Ripper. No, the Yorkshire Ripper. Okay, he was attacking women with hammers and killing them in the UK. Does that mean that the UK is a murder culture?
Or that exactly. It was an epidemic. Oh my God, an epidemic.
Yeah, it's a rare outlier event. And it comes. It's not. Also, people getting cause and effect back to front. They think Islam causes this.
Yeah,
no, it's the rough, violent culture. It's the poverty that causes it. Basically,
it's poverty, difference of cultures, a mixing of cultures. That's what causes it. A mixing of cultures, different cultures, poverty, and just a vast difference between understanding. That's what fucking causes it, man.
There's another narrative about Islam that people go, oh look, it's got violent passages in the thing. Islam proves this, Islam proves that. They do this and that. Okay, it's the environment. If you look at Europe, just 200 years ago, we used to execute people in public in the UK, in England, right? We used to do 300 years ago, right? They used to torture people to death in France. They used to hang, draw, and quarter them. There was somebody trying to kill the king of France. They pulled him apart of horses. Okay, there was a time when Europe. If you go back in history, there was a time when Europe was backwards, and in the Dark Ages and the Middle East, the Islamic countries were far more advanced.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So it's all about cycles in history, because us coming out of poverty, us modernising in the West, becoming less violent internally anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, that's only a recent phenomenon. Historically, it's nothing. Only a few centuries ago, we're just like them. We're just, like, for example, in Christianity, back in the day, do you think they'll tolerate any different religions? They'll kill them, basically. Especially in the Dark Ages. Oh, I don't believe in fact, the Muslims were more tolerant than we were back in the day, because the Muslims would actually tolerate other people of different books. They'll tolerate the Jews. They'll tolerate Christians. There'll some persecutions, restrictive rights. They'll tolerate them.
There's so much historical evidence to prove that.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to fucking pay attention to it.
Yeah, and I'm going to say something as well, because I'm nearly finished what I say. The reason, right, Islamic countries are so extreme and so violent and they're so backwards is because every time they try to nationalise, they try to go to take control of their own government, the West interferes and overthrows them and destroys the countries.
Yes.
Right, creating so, like Iran, that was a democracy in the 50s, that was overthrown.
Yes.
Okay?
Yep.
And let's count as Iraq. Right, Saddam Hussein was backed by the CIA, so we can't go. We interfere. We destroy the countries. We create breeding ground fanatics, and then we put. Oh, look at them! How backwards they are! Look how barbaric we are! Yes, because we interfere and we destroy them. Mm-hmm. And like, for example, Saddam Hussein was secular. All right, Nassar was secular. Basically, every secular national Arab leader, the West turns against them, and we're close allies with Saudi Arabia as well. They're the ones funding all these extremists.
Yep.
We love Saudi Arabia. So we complain about all these fundamentalists, but we're in bed with them.
Yeah,
so
I know,
if you're really against these, if you're really against these if these people are really against these fundamentalists, why don't they complain about the government funding them? They don't complain about the fund because they want a simplistic solution. They just want to point out a group of people and go, look how backwards they are, look how primitive they are, blah blah blah. And it feels good. I can understand the emotional logic to it. You point to a group of people, go, look at them, look how backwards they are. It emotionally feels good, but it doesn't do anything. No. It's pointless. It's just it's emotional masturbation, in my opinion.
Oh, so. Absolutely, man, absolutely. And I mean, even if you go back into the history of where the religion of Islam started and what it came from. I mean, most people don't know. They don't understand the history of that religion. And the thing that really pisses me off the most, my brother, is that people don't understand the difference between religion and culture and race.
Yes.
They put them all together as if
definitely.
It's incredible.
Well, I tell you what, if you call my Iranian friend an Arab, he'll get fucking pissed off.
Yeah.
Because Iranians are not Arab. That's just one small example. There's loads of differences.
Well, think about this. If you have an influx of let's say second, third generation Arabs or Middle Eastern Muslims coming into the Western continent and not understanding our culture and causing conflict, you have to remember that you probably also have second and third generation Muslims in your Western culture that have been there for 2 or 3 generations. Are they rapists also? Because they harbor the name of Islam, or they come from a culture where Islam sprouted from? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. And Christianity came from the same fucking part of the world.
Yeah.
It came from the same goddamn part of the world, man.
Well, you know what? From my point of view, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, they're all different sects of the same religion.
From the same part of the world, man.
Yeah. So, actually, in a way, all the 2 main religions, Islam and Christianity, they're just sects of Judaism, basically.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. And you know, I think about it because I come from North America. You're in England, so it's a little bit older country, right? North America is a little bit newer country, so a newer land, and even there, for at least 2, you can go back at least 2 or 3 generations, and you'll find Muslims that have lived there and have grown up and lived there for 2 or 3 generations, and there they are. Can you call them rapists because they abide by the same religion that you consider these cultures come from? I cannot stand people that are so ignorant and stupid that regard culture, religion, and race as the same fucking thing.
Yes. Yeah. Of course. Because let's be honest, most religions, all the major religions, no one really follows them properly. No one.
Nobody does.
Nobody does. If you look at it, so you can put a pic to the Bible, and you could go, oh look, that's what Christianity is really about. But no one actually practices that.
Yeah.
Basically.
I mean, I said, I'm living in Indonesia, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
I walk around every goddamn day around brown Muslim people. They're not raping anybody, man. But they're all fucking Muslims.
Yeah.
You know?
And here's another thing. I want to talk about one more thing before I go. I'm getting a bit cold.
Okay.
Here's another thing which I'm trying to look into: the Sweden as the rape capital of the world. Okay, and there's a lot of double standards about that, because people go, oh look, Sweden it's apparently number 2 in the world. Apparently, there's some African country with more rapes. Here's the thing about Sweden, okay, and these are the same anti-feminist people pointing to this stats. Look, the police collected the stats, right? Okay, here's the thing, which makes this very complicated. Okay, in Sweden they've got a watered down definition of rape. That's why Julian Assange is in trouble, basically. There's a watered-down definition of rape. There's mad feminists, okay?
Because it's fucking socialistic, man.
Yeah, it's nothing even to do with socialism. It's to do with female nature and feminism.
Yeah, anyway,
it's
hand in hand.
Yes, and the thing is, right, women are encouraged to report anything as rape in Sweden. There's a watered-down definition of rape. The police are pressured to go after rape cases, okay? All right? So, of course, you're going to have more rape cases in Sweden, okay? Because the legal system's fucked. So you get these anti-feminists going, oh, look at Sweden, how ridiculous they are with their feminist police system, their watered-down definition of rape. Then a few months later, those same people complaining about Sweden being the feminist capital of the world will go, oh, look, Sweden, it's a rape capital of the world.
Well, that's what I don't understand. It wasn't, I swear to God, man, look, listen to me. I swear to God, not just 3 years ago, you would see popular memes pop up saying how good Sweden is as a country. It's so good. Look at how much they care about the environment. Look how much they care about the people. And there's no poverty, and everybody. There's a lot of tax, but there's no poverty, and everybody goes to school for free. What the fuck? Okay, so Sweden's the best country in the world 2 years ago, but now it's the rape capital of the world? Yeah. Do you remember that? I mean, I was seeing. I saw this shit happening, man. Yeah.
So there's a lot of people pumping out disinformation. They're buying into facts, and the thing is, it's not that they're. The main point I'm making is these are so-called anti-feminists, and there's so many plastic anti-feminists. There's so many people. I'm in shocks using feminist logic. Basically, I won't name any names, but there's prominent MGTOWers and MRAs using feminist logic. And the way they debate with me is very dishonest.
Yeah.
as well. They're using the same dishonest tactics that feminists use. Basically, they straw man you. They just assume things about you, appeal to ridicule, blah blah blah. All the same tactics. So they're operating from emotion.
Yep.
Basically,
I'm used to that, and you know what? Anybody that is gonna listen to this, because I'm recording this. Anybody that's listening to this now, that is a MGTOW person, I have two things to say. Number one, the video that I made before was a MGTOW video. It was not a political video. It was not meant. It was not meant for anything else but to speak to MGTOW men. That's it.
Yeah.
And anybody that reacts on a level that basically conjoins with feminist reactions, well, I think you need to do some hard, deep thinking about your position on things.
Well, I tell you what, self-reflection can be very painful. Yeah. Actually, that's the problem. If anyone's going to change their mind, it's going to happen slowly.
Of course.
Basically, that's why I was. If I'm wrong on something, it takes a few months for it to sink in sometimes.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, that's the whole point. And this is why. Look. This is why I only make MGTOW videos. I don't make political videos. I don't make conspiracy videos. I don't make that shit. The only thing I make is MGTOW videos. I talk to men. That's all I do is I just talk to men. That's all I want to do. Talk to men.
Before I go, I want to point out why that's very important. RBK used to talk about this a lot. Black Pill, bloggers talked about this as well. There's a concept of staying on focus. And you staying on focus is very important. You can tell a real MGTOW from a fake MGTOW if they come in to talk about their own pet issues, apart from men's issues. If they're coming in talking about cultural Marxism, leftism, right, or conspiracy theory, whatever, anything about men's issues, they're fake and they're plastic, and they're infiltrators, basically. Because only we are talking about our own issues. So we've got to stay on target. If we get, there's various different things. For example, in this video I talked about a bit about international politics and the Muslim world a little bit. I normally it's an interest of mine, okay? Yeah. I'm fascinated by it, but I don't talk about it because it's a side issue.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's context.
I'm not going to derail.
It's just context. That's all it is.
Yes.
Everything I talk about is towards men, and anything outside of that is just context. That's it.
Yes.
That's it.
So, anyway, my hands are freezing, so I'm gonna.
All right, you're way over in fucking England. Fucking poor bastard.
I had to go outside. To get clear. The talk's finished now, so you might as well stop recording. I'm done. Unless you've got anything to say.
All right, no, I got nothing else to say. Thanks for talking to me, brother.
Okay.
Get inside and get warm, okay?